I know this show is supposed to happen on a Wednesday, but I got drunk and couldn't make the gig. So I packed up my headphones and I headed out the door. And here we are today. Time to get this show started. The whiskey's pouring, grab yourself a beer. Everything's ready, the director is here. Time to get loose, join the entourage. Let's all get drunk at the director's garage. Let's get drunk at the director's garage. Let's get drunk at the director's garage. It don't matter wherever you are. All get drunk at the director's garage.
Oh, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. It took me a minute to get here, fellas. But, yeah, we made it. We made it. Happy Thursday, everybody. Whoa. System crashed just about 2 seconds. ZMF Caldera, by the way. System crashed a minute before I went on the air. Just, I mean, like, bam. Whole thing shot to crap. Just... like the switcher wasn't talking, the microphone preamp wasn't talking. I'm like, I had literally 2 failures at the last second. I'm like, all right, just shut everything down, turn everything back on, it'll all be fine. That's exactly what happened. Just had to restart a few things, that's all. Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to the Thursday Happy Hour Hangout. I'm your host and resident idiot, Michael, and I hope you guys had a good week, and I hope that you enjoyed our little RAAL show that we debuted on Tuesday. What'd you guys think of that? It was a lot of fun. I will say the technical glitches have followed me. Apparently, the technical gods are angry with me. I don't know what I did to them, but I angered them in some way. And I think part of it might be I had to change credit cards. So not everybody got their payment. I had to go one by one and put my new credit card number in. Somebody had started charging stuff all over LA with my credit card number. So I got it. But anyway, whatever it was, because my plugins on my editing app died. So the episode, like my vocal is way down in the mix because the plugin that I normally use to do limiting wasn't working right. And so I've since fixed it, but I can't really go back and re-up. And I was working so late into the night getting that episode prepped. The guys on the Patreon who get the preview clip, I sent that out at like 10:30 at night because it was so late when I was working up to the last second. So yeah, unfortunately I just had to let it go. I'm like, well, this is as good as it's going to get for this one, and better to be on the air than not. So the audio is a little wonky. My mix is a little low. My voice in the mix is a little low. I had one guy write in that said, your music's too loud. I'm like, no, my music's not too loud. My voice is too low. So I just thought I'd explain that. It's the plugin that I use for this 77DX. So in order to get my voice up, I put a limiter on it so that if I have a burst of sound, it pulls it nicely back into the in line. Well, that plugin was completely not working. And I thought I was trying to hunt it down. I just couldn't figure it out. It turned out it was the limiter that was going bad. So I've since changed from it's this thing called a V-Comp, a V-compressor. It's a Waves plugin, and I've since switched to an L1 plugin, which I actually think sounds better. You'll hear it in the next episode, which is already in production. I've already laid it out. It's ready to, I just got to B-roll it and send it out. And you guys are going to be fun. This is going to be a fun one. The next one's fun too. I've got a couple of fun episodes. And then we've got after that the full review of the RAAL. You can't see it because the microphone's in the way. Oh, this is like 3D. Whoa. There it is, the RAAL. And my mic's out of the way. Yeah, it's hanging up. I'll give it a little more prominence. There you go. Now you can see the RAAL in the background while we're talking. Shameless. God, it's what a great headphone though. And what a great surprise that was. I was not expecting... I went into it thinking, I thought, this is a good headphone. This is a nice headphone. But it's not my favorite headphone. And I can't say I don't know if it's my favorite now, but it's up there. It's got to be in consideration for the top headphones on the planet right now. I was just shocked and even when I started listening to it, I thought, yeah, this is the nice sound that I remember. And then I started pushing the power on the thing. Then I started like throwing watts at it, and it was like, bam! That thing just came alive. I mean, it was like somebody just kicked it in the ass, and it just boom! It was like, here, I'm going to show you what I can do, but you've been sort of not feeding me at all, so. So it really needs to get a lot of power into it before it starts. At least in my experience, the more you throw at that thing, the better and better it gets. It's amazing. And I pulled out that Krell, which was in the background last week on the last live stream. You guys just didn't see it, but always check my background because there's always stuff back here that'll be like, oh, wait a minute, that's a clue, something's coming. But I've gotten to spend more time with the Krell setup, with the Ray Samuels setup, with the tube setup, and I've done a lot of listening because I'm doing the notes to do the full review. I have to turn that review relatively soon because Danny needs these headphones for CanJam. These are going to CanJam. So, I've got to get this turned around quick in order to pull all this off so that I'm not annoying him. Sorry, I'm going to turn this light down just a hair. 56. Turn it down just a little bit because it's getting a little. We're going to look at. I do have a package here. This will. Sorry, the camera's bouncing. I do have a package here. We're going to open this in a few minutes. So this is It's CanJam related. So exciting though. I mean, what a great experience this has been, having ribbons I'm going back through every track I have because it's just so fun. They're so great, and I'm also finding that there are things that I like the big Krell amp for, and there are things that I like the Ray Samuels for, and there are things that I like the tube for. So it's very interesting. It's a lot of fun to mix and match and find out what it is I like. And what I'm finding is, as I'm going through it, is not to give away the whole next episode, but the Krell is actually really good on kind of quieter, softer stuff, which is, I can't even get my brain around it, why that would be. But like when I was putting hard rock through it, I put the AC/DC track through it, which was bleeding all over. I know I got to jam the music up loud on those episodes, and I'm sorry, but I've got to cover that music or I'm going to get dinged. I'll lose all my monetization. Not that I make a ton of money at it. By the way, to get the plugin fixed, $300. I'm like, if you think this show makes money, just the keeping this shit going costs a frickin' fortune. So I think the episode, I'll be lucky if it makes $27. I spent $300 just to get the plugin back online and get everything working. So Jesus, I am not a smart business. I tell you guys I'm an idiot at the beginning of every episode, and my business acumen is not much, not far from that reality. Goodness, it should surprise exactly no one. All right, but what I figured out is that the Krell To me anyway, it actually works on softer stuff. And when I put the hard rock and the heavy metal through it, which I thought would be like really powerful and great, it actually was too much. It actually was just like, it was this overload. There was so much bass and so much stuff coming at me. I'm like, this is actually, over the top. When I backed it down and I listened to some quieter stuff, I was like, wow, this is where it gets unbelievably smooth and beautiful. It's like, it's so fast. I mean, these are such fast headphones. They are so close to E-Stats. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's reinvigorated my excitement for the hobby when you hear something that's like at or near the top of anything you've heard before. Really exciting stuff. What else have I got to do? Lots to say in the view upcoming. I wrote some show notes here. Sorry, guys. And then coming up, the next episode is going to be a What's in the Box episode, kind of a little side tangent, and then we're going to do the review of the Imanis and the Magna, and then after that, I think I've got another E-Stat episode coming on the heels of that. So how about that? Like, somebody wrote me out of the blue and said, "You want to check out this E-Stat?" I said, "Sure, why not?" So we're gonna be doing an E-Stat coming up. The other thing I noticed this week, this was really exciting for me. I'm a huge Hall & Oates fan. Not their 80s, kind of mid 80s stuff. I'm maybe a little more cold on that stuff. I love the 70s stuff, the Sarah Smile and Rich Girl and all those earlier things. And I really like all their music. I just think I love their harmonies. I like everything about them. And they went through an extreme breakup where, this is about 2 years ago, where Oates sued Hall. And it created this big drama, and they swore they'd never work together again. If you look in the link below this episode, there's a link down there. Hall & Oates reunited in Japan recently. I think it was in Japan, and they did a concert together. So they're back on the same page, and they're back on working terms with each other, and that was really nice to see. So you had Oasis reunite this year. You had Hall & Oates reunite. I mean, it's just, cats and dogs living in harmony. I've got this merch thing I'm going to open up in just a second. I did have, it's right here. I did have one merch issue. My first merch issue came up. And it was, somebody had ordered a big order, and they had shipped it to a place, shipped it to their house, and USPS for some reason doesn't deliver there. And it's not shipped USPS, it's shipped DHL, but DHL uses USPS for the final leg on their US deliveries. So unfortunately, it went back. So he texted me. I actually hit me up on Headphone, and I said, "Just use my email, man." Everybody knows my email. It's right here, directorsgarage@gmail.com. You can always reach me at that email if you need me for anything, if you got a question. So he hit me up and said, explain the situation, and I'm like, oh, that just sucks because it can't get to him. So they tried to deliver. USPS doesn't deliver, so they sent it back. So it's in the middle of this return process. So what I told him is, look, and I'm just going to, because I want this to be an example of how you're going to get served if something does go wrong on the merch site. If you want, I will refund your money immediately. I will give you 100% of your money back, and I'll just pay it out of pocket. Don't care. I just want you to be happy, because the whole thing is about spreading joy. This is not going to be a profession for me. It will never be a profession for me. This doesn't make money. I don't have enough subscribers. I do this because I love the hobby. I love you guys. I love the interaction. I love meeting these people who make this shit. I think they're brilliant people, and they have great ideas, and it's fun to exchange and learn what they, what inspires them and how they come about making this stuff. Guys like Ryan, who's in the audience today. I just so enjoy the hobby. I'll pay. I said, I'll give you a refund on everything. I'll just send you a Venmo. You'll be done. Or you can wait it out. And what I'll try and do is when the merchandise makes its way back to the factory, I will have them ship it to me, and then I will UPS it to you, because UPS does deliver to his area. So instead of USPS, it'll get there UPS. And to his credit, he said, I'd rather wait and try it your way. And if I can't, for some reason, get the merch intercepted and sent to me, I'm just going to place the order myself, what he ordered, and out of pocket, I'll just send it to him. I just want people to have the greatest experience and have a lot of fun with this stuff. That's what it's about. Okay. So with that said, this is coming. This is for CanJam. This is for CanJam. This package right here. And so we're going to open this now, and we're going to see what it is. These should be t-shirts that I'm going to be wearing at CanJam. These are not for sale. And you'll see why in a second, because I did some things on this order that you wouldn't want for any reason. And I got 2 shirts. These are identical shirts because it's a 2-day CanJam. So this is what we ordered. It's always fun. It's always fun to open stuff. I just like opening shit. Okay. And here it is. Okay. Well, you already get a peek. It's the shirt I have on right now. It's the shirt I have on right now. This is the crew neck lightweight, because it's summer. It's hot as hell here today. And I already did my 4 miles. But check this out. So, normal front. So it's like business in the front. And then look at this, party in the back. Look at this. The back has been modified. Let's do it on the main camera. So the back has been modified. There's my Director's Garage logo, and then there's a QR code. So if somebody sees me and they're like, "Hey, I like the shirt," I can go, "Hey, scan the QR code on the back of my shirt," or the sleeve. Look, it's on the sleeve too. Over here. Party. Or the sleeve, scan the QR code, and it'll take you right to the website. You can buy the shirt without the QR code, because that's kind of obnoxious. But it's kind of fun, right? And then I just to round it out, I did Director's Garage on this sleeve, and then it's got the Director's Garage on the back. And all these shirts, by the way, the T-shirts anyway, come with a little Director's Garage logo, on the tag. Where the tag would be. It's kind of like a little hidden secret, like an Easter egg. Oh, there was an Easter egg. Did you guys see? Did you guys see there was an Easter egg in the? We'll get to the chat in a second. I know you guys got questions about the episode, and put your questions in. If you anything you want to know about the ribbons, if I can help you out and tell you anything, I will. But where can I find that? Can I find that? Yes, I can. Here's what I'm going to do. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I gotta go to. Oh, my mouse is just messing up. Howley jumps up on I get cat hair on there. Trackballs do not like cat hair, if you were wondering. So let's see. If I go to Docs, I can pull this. Let's pull this, and I'll send it over to the laptop. There it is. Okay. So I'll show you this. If you guys didn't notice this. This is kind of clever on my part. I thought it was clever. I was being cheeky. But if you look at the thumbnail, which I'm going to show you. Okay, auto, here we go. If you look at the thumbnail, this is the thumbnail for the last episode. Look over here. There's a RAAL grill embedded. This is the Amanus grill. I embedded it right over underneath the title. So I was like, I sometimes I do stuff like that just to see if anybody will catch it. Nobody caught it. So, but it was kind of fun. That's the RAAL grill. So okay. Oh, Cheeky Bed's going to bed. Cheeky Fest's going to bed. So I'm gonna. I'll run through these real quick, buddy. Your questions. First of all, Ryan Dietz, welcome. I'm glad at Cheeky Fest you liked the episode. Thank God. I really appreciate that. I really work hard. It was kind of disappointing that the audio wasn't as good as it normally is, but there's days and days and days of work into those things. They really take, the main episodes are not like slap it together and get it on the air. You don't see jump cuts, you don't see, there's a lot of stuff, but yeah, I really put a lot into those episodes. I don't understand what the transformer does exactly. Okay. Binary feedback. Cheers, brother. Thanks for stopping by. The transformer steps down the power. It takes the current coming off of your amplifier and it reduces it to a level that the ribbons can tolerate. And I don't know exactly what that ratio is, what the step down is, because I haven't asked Danny, but it takes all that voltage, that raw power that would drive a Sesfara, that's in the background over there, and it steps it down because the ribbon is very sensitive, it's very thin, and it's in line. So, the positive comes off the amp, it goes down through the ribbon and then back out to the amp. So think about it. That thin little ribbon is basically a fuse. It's a very thin piece of metal. And if you put a lot of power through that, it'll react just like a fuse. It'll just burn up and snap, because that's, what fuses do. So by stepping down the power, it gives it the right current so that it won't burn up. And I'm sure I'm butchering this a little bit technically, because I'm not like the world's greatest technical person, but I do understand how it works, the basics of how it works. So that's what it's doing. It's just stepping down the power. And there are some amps that Danny is working on partnering with, and I don't want to give any of that away because I don't know what he's announced, but I know at least 2 or 3 manufacturers he's been working with so that they'll put the ribbon output, build it into the amplifier. So you don't need the transformer, but they need that step. You need to step down the power or it will burn those things up. And I have the same problem, by the way, on this microphone. This microphone is a ribbon. So when I talk into it, the ribbon vibrates and it creates current that goes through the wiring back down to a step up amplifier to make it work. Well, there's most microphones, if you get like a condenser microphone or something, or a capsule, they require power. It's called phantom power, and they'll send 48 volts, I think it is, of power, very low current, through the microphone to power it so that it can create. Well, if you have the phantom power turned on, that phantom power will go right through the ribbon and burn it out. And it's the same concept. So you got to step down the power, or in this case, you turn the phantom power off, or it's gonna burn up. How are the ribbon drivers different to planars or E-stats? Well, they're very different than either. I would say sonically, they kind of have the resolution of the electrostatics, but the frequency response of a planar. But I would put a star by that because you got to feed them power to get that. The problem is, the real problem is, and these are hooked up. Hang on. All right, do a show and tell. I had to unplug them because I've been listening to them a lot. Imagine that. The problem is the headphone by itself isn't going to give you, like, if you own a Burson or a trying to think of, like, or even I would say like trying to think, Ferrum stack or a head amp, GSX Mini or something, right? Great amplifiers. These are good amplifiers. They're very clean, very beautiful. And you power these with that. I would suggest don't buy this headphone, right? Because you're not going to get out of these things what they can do. They need real, serious effing power. They need massive, massive power. And a headphone like this, the Caldera, this doesn't need that much power. So you put these on your Ferrum stack, or you put these on GSX Mini, or you put this on a Hollow May or Hollow Spring, amplifier. And they dance. They dance like crazy. They sound fantastic. They have bass that extends into the sub, and they've got all this detail, and they do great things. Well, if you put this on those, you don't get that bass response that this gives you. It's only when you step the crap out of the power, like really juice the bullocks out of them, that these things come alive. But they need great power. So the cost of the headphone, which is 10 grand, I think, for these, and it's 6 grand for the Magna. That's part one. You still need part two, and part three would be your source, because they're real revealing. They're very revealing headphones. And if you have, kind of like average files, or you're feeding whatever through, it just doesn't, it's not going to react. It's just not going to give you that sonic experience that these things are capable of. So they're great. I mean, they're, up there, but you've got to feed them, because like, you saw my reaction when I first started doing the listening, and I'm like, oh, these are nice. They're nice. They sound really good. They sound clean. They got, good, nice frequency response. They're good. But it wasn't until I went to high gain, all of a sudden it was like, whoa, this headphone just like, the bass just opened up, and the stage just like, oh, it was everything. It's all the things happened at once. It's crazy. All right, so how much of the stuff you've got there is yours on loan for review? All I have here that's, well, I'll walk you through. I've got one headphone I can't show you because it's going to be the next episode, but I sent that back anyway. But that was on loan for review, so I just turned it real quick, shot the episode, got it back out, and this will make sense next week. I'll tell you, I'll reveal it. I just don't want to give it away now because it spoils the fun. I like the fun of it. Did I get you on the surprise on that episode? That, oh, he's just doing the Magna, big deal. And then the next thing you know, I was like, no, I got a little something extra. we got the Amanis too, but it was fun. Like when I was. The second Danny's like, I'm going to send you, give you both. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do it that way though. I want to do it like, I wanted to reveal the Amanis in like a little surprise, whatever. So I'm sure people initially were like, oh, it's just a Magna. It's just no big deal. It's just, he's just got the small one. It's like, no, it's still a great headphone, by the way, $6,000 headphone. But that was fun. So the Magna, that was on loan. The Ray Samuels was on loan, and then I told Ray I wanted to buy one, but I said, it's just gonna. We were going back and forth on it, and I said, buddy, I lost my job. It was right when I lost my job last year, and I said, I can't pay you, so we're just gonna. I'll put it on hold. I said, Ray, next year or whenever it is, I get on my feet. My intent is to buy one of these things. I'll just hit you up when you're ready. And I don't want to, tie up your gear. He sent me one. He said, go to CanJam and take the one that's going to be on demo at the ZMF booth, and then keep it. And he said, pay me when you can. And I'm like, dude. So that was something that Ray did for me. And I do happen to think it's the best amp I've still heard. I like it better than anything else I've heard, and I haven't heard everything. That's the thing, I say that, but I also acknowledge that I haven't heard everything. I haven't heard the Riviera. I haven't heard the AIC-10. I haven't heard that amp. There's a couple of amps out there that I've heard, and I'm like, I like this better. This is the best amp I've heard. And I think it's a value at $12,500. But that said, I haven't heard everything either. So I don't say it's the best amp out there. I just say it's the best I've heard. But I do intend, and I sent Ray half the money for it already because I sold something, and then whatever sells next. If it's the Abyss, and the Carbon 2 are for sale right now. The Carbon 2 is listed at $4,200, and the Abyss is listed at, I think, $5,200. And the Abyss is listed so high because it includes the superconductor cable, which I paid myself $2,600 for on top of the headphone, and then the stand from Rooms, which you can't even get anymore, which is the best headphone stand for it. Plus you get all the boxes, you get the original cable that came with it, and all the stuff inside of it. So it's a big package, and it's still less than the cost of a new Abyss, and you get the superconductor. So, and you guys know I don't listen to that headphone a ton, so it's not like it's getting a shit ton of wear and it's just wearing out. And I did have one fix done to it. I had the top nut that holds the two halves. I had that replaced on it because it was a little loose when I got it and I didn't like it. And so I sent the headphone to Abyss and they did a once over on it and put a new nut on top. But that headphone's for sale. But whatever I sell next, that money's going to Ray to pay off this amp. And then after that, anything else that goes, it's like, I don't know. Because I certainly am not going to be buying unfortunately, as much as I would love to, I'm not going to be buying an Imanis or a Magna. I just don't have that kind of money. So it's going to be a minute, before but it is a headphone that I would love to own. After spending time with it, I'm like, I would really love to own these. They're really spectacular. They're a phenomenal headphone. Good stuff. Really everything else is, for the most part, most of the episodes I've done are stuff that I review or got sent to me by Audio 46, but I don't have long-term loans here. And I've explained this to the guy who's sending me an eStat to review. And I have to do this now. I can't buy anything because I'm broke, guys. I have no income. I've been doing a job this week, fortunately, that'll bring in a little money, but it's like I can't throw any money at this show. There's just, or my hobby, the buying another headphone. Just couldn't. Not possible. It would be so irresponsible of me, and I'm not an irresponsible person. Yeah, guys will send me stuff, but I don't keep it for long. I try to turn my reviews in a couple of weeks. There are guys who keep stuff for 6 months and do a long-term review and all that. I'm not that guy. First of all, I don't like having other people's stuff around here because if it gets damaged, if my cat decides to eat the cord, it's just too much risk, and it would kill me. If I have to send something back. In fact, I felt really bad. The Diablo. Remember when I did the first Diablo review and they sent it to me? My headphone stand tipped over and it nicked the Diablo and it put a small chip in the Diablo. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to iFi and I said, guys, I am so sorry. My headphone stand tipped over. It nicked this beautiful paint job. I totally apologize. And if you need me to buy it, I'll buy it. Back then I had money. And I'm really like, well, please don't make me buy it. But the Diablo, and they said, it's a lender, it's a loaner, don't worry about it, just send it back to us, Michael, do a fair review of it, that's all we ask. So there you go. But it's, I don't, if somebody sends me something to review, I try to turn it, and I tell people, I've told people don't send me something now. In fact, I've had to put Audio 46, Rodrigo, my good friend, Rodrigo Freitas, and Tony over at Audio 46. I had to tell them to stop, don't send me stuff because I can't turn episodes this fast right now with my work situation. So I'll tell you when you can send me another thing, but just don't send me stuff because it's going to sit here too long and I don't want to be sitting on stuff. And I already made the arrangement with Danny. So Rigo hit me up the other day and said, hey, can I send you something? And I said, no. I said, no, don't send me anything. I've got 3 episodes. The next 3 episodes are lined up. And now I've got a 4th episode. We'll get back to Audio 46. They know I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of them. My coupon code still works over there. Directors Garage, all one word. You can get 5% off most of the stuff they carry with that thing. So, but yeah, I try to turn stuff as fast as possible. But back in the day, when I had regular income coming in, almost everything that I had, I bought. I was buying stuff, and I just could do it because I had funds, and I'm like, oh, I'll buy it. You know, what I was doing was buying stuff used, reviewing it, and then sell it used, and I might lose, you know, $100 on it or something, but I'm like, it's just the cost of transactional business. And I got to hear the headphone. I got to hear, you know, experience having this around for a bit, and then I just got rid of it. And the stuff that I liked, I kept for a while, but I was just exchanging stuff, buying a lot of stuff used, reviewing it, turning it around. But I bought a few things new, wasn't really smart. I bought the Caldera new, probably not a smart move. I bought the Atrium new, probably not a smart move, because you're going to take a massive hit on that stuff when you go to sell it. But the Sultan, I'm still kicking my own ass for selling the Sultan. Sultan is my favorite IEM of all time. I should have kept that. But I sold it because I got the Ragnar, and I'm like, I can't keep both, and the Ragnar's new, and it's like, you know, I should have just reviewed the Ragnar and sent it on its way and kept the, because I like the Ragnar, but it's so detailed. It's just too much for me on a long-term thing. Like, you can listen to that for an hour, but then it's like, you need a break. You got to go to something more comfortable and more like, that's not this assault on your senses. Great headphone, like one of the greatest IEMs you know, ever made as far as like technical ability, but living with it is a different thing. It's kind of like the Imanis. Sorry, that's my cameras. The Imanis, if through the Krell, it's like it's a full on assault. And you're gonna. I think that's Mrs. Director coming home. Yeah, it is. Okay. I'm gonna text her real quick that we're on the air, people. Happy wife, happy life. Another half hour. All right, so there you go. But yeah, it's just too much. It's like I don't think you would want to live with that thing playing on the Krell all the time. There is music that works with it, but man, if you listen to something hard, it's like it's so much. The other thing we're going to do today is a viewer system. I'm going to get to that in just a second. Let's go through a little more of the chat. I'm so thrilled I got this shirt, though. This is what you're going to see me in a CanJam. It'll be this, and then look at the party in the back, boys. Look at the party in the back. Music is life. Director's Garage! And my QR code to my website. Marketing, boys. That's where it's at. That's how I'm going to make my millions. T-shirts. God. So Cheeky Fest, I hope you stayed up for some of that and got a chance to hear some of the answers. And if not, hopefully you reviewed it, and because I got to them. Howdy, gents, hipster cow. Thought this show was canceled due to ratings. Ow. Oh, my bleeding heart. Yeah, the ratings. Well, I will say, hipster cow, I will say the last episode did well. Like, it was one of my better rated episodes in a long time. And one of my worst sounding, because of the plug-in problem. Explained at the top of the show. Michael likes to live dangerously, says JTB. He'd bet $1,000 on an NFL game tonight if he only had $500 to his name. No, I wouldn't. Nope. No. That is not Michael. Michael is not that kind of dude. Michael takes conservative steps. I'm very like investing all of it. I'm very conservative. I do not take risks with money. There's just no point. Neil just bought a Fang Sound Dionysus and Adrian. Dionysus will replace the B21 Raider, and the Adrian will be his TV amp. I don't even know what a Fang Sound is. It sounds like it's got teeth, though. Anyone? Let's see what the I'm going to look this up. Dio. Oh, Fang sound. Fang sound. Dionysus. Here we go. All right, it's from Elise Audio. Here's step one. Let's go to it. MacBook Pro. Go. Ah! Take that off the air. Take a look. Oh, that's a small guy. Still pricey. I like the thinness of it, though. I've never heard of this before. 32 ohm, 40 watts. It's a powerful little guy. Kind of reminds me of the Bakun 13R. Got to get pre-orders though. How long is this thing taking to get here? Huh. Well, that's cool. Like that. And then he said he bought another one. He bought the Adrian, this one. This is the smaller one. Smaller of the two. High output. Neil needs high output for his headphones. $18.99. Not cheap for a TV setup. Out of stock though. Still pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like that, Neil. So while we're here, while we're here, let's go to, this is a viewer system. And this is from, I got to get my notes up. This is from Viewer Mike. Viewer Mike, good name. Viewer Mike sent us this rig. So you can see he's got himself a Susvara unveiled in a plexiglass tomb. And then these are this is he's got an LA IV UDC custom cable from Plus Sound, and that's an HE-1000 unveiled. Sorry, I thought it was a Susvara unveiled, but you're right, those are more egg-shaped. This is the best headphone he's heard to date, and making him seriously consider selling his Meze Elite, his previous favorite headphone. I understand that. I mean, the thing you'll get from the Meze that you won't get from, well, I shouldn't say that. I haven't spent enough time with them. I think, well, the comfort is going to be different for sure, because these aren't going to be as comfortable as the Meze. The Meze is the most comfortable headphone on the planet. But, yeah, you get more resolution out of the HE-1000 probably, I would think. Unveiled. He's got the veils on. Let's see what else is here. Does it give me anything else in this? You might be wondering what's up with the display case. He says, I wanted a headphone sitting out on a stand, but also in space with silicate beads to control humidity, and this worked out perfectly. So he's got silicate beads under there that's like pulls the moisture out from the thing. Or you just live like me and live on the edge and all your headphones are out all the time. I mean, I take risks on this show because most of my headphones are out unless if I'm really not spending a lot of time with them, I'll put them away, especially like the E-stats I'll put away. Oh, I got more photos here though. Hang on. I didn't do you a solid, fellas. Hang on. There's more photos here. Here we go. Oh. So here's the cable. Here's the custom cable from PS Sound. And his DAC. I've seen this DAC before. I don't remember who makes it. Wow, that's a hell of a cable. Nice. Nifty. That's beautiful. This is just gorgeous. What a great setup. I mean, it looks like, it's almost furniture at this point. You know what I mean? Like it looks like, I mean, this stuff just looks like like he styled it or something, Like he had an interior decorator a headphone decorator come in and go, can you make my stuff really like, you know, all look like it belongs together? You know, just amazing. I thought that cable's crazy. Cable is crazy. And then he's got his display case. Do not touch the glass. Do not approach the glass. Man, that's beautiful. Guys, send your stuff. Send examples of what you're listening to in. It doesn't have to be this pretty. It's just fun to look at. So if you can, just send them to directorsgarage@gmail.com. Send your photos in, because it's so cool to check out what you guys are into, it's just great. It's just great. Oh, I got to do this. Now I can do this. All right, got rid of it. So beautiful. That's quite a solution to keep your headphones out of humidity. If you're in a humid climate, I guess it would make sense. So good. Oops. Don't do that. Stop it. Down, boy. Down. Arf, arf. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. So Neil showed us his Dionysus. Well, send some photos, Neil, when you get it in, because I'd love to see them. Going to grab a Paravox. I don't even know what these are. And Akasha IEM at Musitech when he goes to CanJam. What's wrong with the ones you got? You've got the Macbeth. And you've got the Fur Audio. My God, my friend, you're living in the penthouse with your IEMs. Binary Feedback says, I didn't update Waves for years and years. Shame in some ways, but their update plan policies suck. Yeah, I know. And the only thing that's nice is they don't make you do it, but there comes time when things aren't working. Your plugins, we're talking about plugins that you use for your editing apps and stuff. I have a set of audio plugins from a company called Waves, and they make kind of the industry standard. There's a couple other ones. McDSP makes some, and you can get some different. Universal Audio makes a few, but they emulate like famous boards, famous limiters and compressors and things like that. They do a really good job of it. They got some great reverb stuff too. And if you're having any problem, like if you want to restore some audio, they make some noise suppression stuff that can take like warble and hiss and clicks. If you're dubbing an album, you can take the clicks, the pops and clicks out easily with just a plugin. You can do some really crazy stuff. Of course, you can do really crazy stuff with AI now too. But I rely on those plugins as my main thread. When the live stream, I don't put any. This is pretty much the mic straight. But when I'm doing the episodes, I run it through a compressor and a limiter. Actually, I run it through a limiter and I run it through some stuff to de-ess it, because I can get a little shishy on this, and it'll pull that out, and slight little EQ here there. But I just do a little bit of sweetening on the microphone to give it a little more depth and weight that you don't hear on this. This is reedy for me. Hear my reedy little voice. Sorry, guys. But the Waves stopped working on the last episode, so that I'm kind of buried in the mix too much. And I went back, and then I was like, okay, can I fix it? And then after I found the problem, I'm like, can I fix it and re-upload it? And the only way you can do it on YouTube is if you actually upload a new version of the whole episode. And I'm just like, screw it. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. It's not perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. Let it go. Let it go. Disney, line 1. I just got demonetized. Binary Feedback says he would also recommend the Tokyo Dawn Labs plugins for reasonable cost and very high quality. Yeah, I kind of like, I love the McDSP stuff, but they're so expensive. The good news is that I don't use Avid Pro Tools. Pro Tools literally can double the cost of a plugin. They charge double the cost for a Pro Tools plugin versus what they call I think it's called it's a universal plugin. And so the universal plugins works on like Premiere Pro, Apple's Final Cut, and like does all of them. You have to get a special plugin to run on Avid stuff, and it costs more. Everything Avid costs more. That's why I switched to Resolve DaVinci from Blackmagic Design, because Avid years ago in 2019. Let me get that right. Not 20 years before that. 2019, Avid, which made the best editing app on the planet called Media Composer, and it still may be the best editing app on the planet. They took away customization on the keyboard for stuff that I had customized and had been using for 20 years. And if you've been doing something a certain way for 20 years, you don't want to be told you can't do it that way anymore. And I got severely angry. And because I'm paying Avid, the Media Composer license annually is $700 a year just for the Media Composer license. And I'm like, and you're taking away my usability of this? And I'm like, and the company had been sort of struggling, and they hadn't updated stuff in a very long time, and their title tool wasn't working right, and a whole bunch of stuff was just a mess. And I'm just like, you know what? If I've got to learn all new shortcuts anyway, I'm going to learn a new platform. So I looked at Premiere, and I looked at Final Cut, and I looked at DaVinci Resolve, and DaVinci was the closest to how I edit. They had the best color correction of any product, including Avid, by far. And they were developing it faster. DaVinci I get an update about every 2 months for Resolve with a whole ton of new features that make my life easier. I'm like, done. So there you go. That looks cool. Reminds me of MSB. Oh, the Neil, maybe that's Neil's stuff he's reacting to. They do one called a Limiter 6, which has a compressor, high frequency limiter, and good for your S. Yeah, I know. I tend to stack my stuff so I can turn it off and on, and it gets a little confusing when you do too much in one. At least it does for me. So I tend to use individual plugins. Anyway, tech talk. Nice LAIV setup. Yeah, I think it's awesome. What's in the bowl? It's M&M's. No. We now know it's silicate. Silicate. Don't get conned by your silicate. JTB says he recently got the HE100 unveiled. They are great bang for the buck. I'm assuming that's HE1000 unveiled. They don't make a 100, do they? Or did I miss that? But I think it's great, though. I think the setup from Viewer Mike is beautiful, just beautiful. Quick little look. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's awesome. It's awesome. A couple more things, and then we're gonna wrap this one up because I want to respect. Mrs. Director wants to go. I'm kind of walking her around now because she'd broken the foot, if you remember. And so I go take her to the park, and we walk on flats so she can rehab her foot. So I got to go take her over to the park. Binary feedback. All of his Audeses go back in their cases. He couldn't live like the stand life. Too much anxiety. He'd be out at the store picking up vegetables and thinking about dust and bugs on the driver. I know. And most of my stuff just sits out in the background because I think it looks good. You know, it looks good when it's sitting there. It gives you something to look at, like, oh, yeah. And then it's fun when you've got the Manus back there. But I don't have everything out now. A lot of the stuff I packed up. But I pull it out when I need to, and then I put it away. Just know I don't whip it out at... Sorry. So bad. We're all going to jail, boys. It's a lovely glass case, though. Good compromise, pretty and protective. Yep. He just wants a decent vocal compressor. Oh, I've got such good vocal compressors. One of the best is a Universal Audio emulator. If you can find a good emulator, Waves makes a really good one called the LA2A, and it's basically the way it works. And I've got one in line on this microphone. This microphone has an LA2A on it, it's got an optical sensor, and when you speak, it lights up this optical sensor, and then there's a sensor on the back end of it that sees how much it's lighting, and when it gets to a certain intensity, it clamps down on the compression. We ran them in line at every radio station. Most recording studios have them because it does a very tasteful compression or limiter, depending on how you use it. But it's really good. LE2A is really good. For singing, I've got a number of them. I've got this Butch Vig compressor setup for vocals, just for vocals. Really nice. You can really tweak with stuff and get some interesting sounds. And I really like this V-Comp compressor that they had for years. It's kind of a tube emulation compressor, but that's what was the fly in the ointment. That was what stopped working for me. And even after I've updated it, it has not come back. So I'm gonna have to call Waves at some point. I'm just like. You hate it when the features get taken away. Apple do that as well. Yeah, and Avid had for a long time. They hadn't touched their interface, but then they're like, you can't map this, you can't map that. You can, you're limited to put your keys here and there and whatever. And I just got so pissed. I'm like, I've been using your stuff since I've been using Avid Media Composer and Symphony since Media Composer first, obviously, because Symphony didn't come out for a couple of years. But 1993 was, I think, maybe 92 was the first year I used Media Composer and was pushing it because it couldn't do much at that time. And I pushed it and I got it. That's how I made my bones in my career. Was I learned how to use an Avid before anybody else learned how to use an Avid. I was in Chicago. I was the only one in Chicago who knew how to use an Avid, and I got a lot of work. I booked tons of gigs because everybody wanted to see what it was about and wanted me to cut something for them on it. And so I was constantly booking stuff, and I taught myself how to use it, and it was great. But after 30 years, they rearranged the interface. I'm like, what? You just extended a middle finger to me, and I'm going to extend a middle finger right back, and I'm going to go use something else. Because if you're going to take away the stuff that makes it easy to use, or the reason I haven't jumped ship and stayed with you and paid the $700 a year and all these other fees for years and years and years, and then you're going to do this to me, I will exercise my right to use another product. Thank you. All right. Got all kinds of stuff. Thank you for all the recommendations. I hope to say hi at CanJam, says Tommy Lou. Last year, he didn't want to get in the way of all the B-roll. You can always tap me on the back. And I don't know how much I'll be shooting this year. We'll have to see. We'll see how much I'm shooting. I don't know. CanJam's coming up. It's like coming up in a couple weeks. So I've got to get this... wrap this damn show up, says binary feedback. Yeah, I got to wrap it up, and I've got to wrap up the shooting of the next RAAL episode, so that I can get the headphone back to Danny's for CanJam. He's gonna need them. He's going to need them. I'm going to be sorry to let him go, though. I'm telling you, boys, this has been it's been just riches around here in the director's garage lately with these great ribbons, both of them fantastic. But I'm going to wrap it up now. I'm going to say goodbye for the week. New episode probably next week, unless something gets in the way of that, for sure. Unless, like I said, unless work or something gets in the way, I won't be. I should have an episode out to you next week, and it will be a mystery box for you. I know what it is, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be a fun episode, and I don't want to tip more than that. I think you just have a good time with it. I had a good time with it. It's fun to do, fun to see. It's something not a lot of people have seen yet, so it's going to be great. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. So until then, I'll do my Jerry Springer sign off. Take care of yourself and each other, and I'll see you before you know it. That was Jerry Springer's sign off. Remember, I worked for Jerry Springer for about 10 years, fellas. All right, now I got to see. Now I set all this up and I didn't have anything ready to say goodbye with. So music. Cheers.